What's going on, fight fans? So what we're going to do today is that we have to further break down this video, the trailer, basically, because I've watched this trailer so many times. It's short, but it's sweet. But you can easily get so excited that you overlook so many elements from that trailer. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick pass through from the trailer so you guys can take a look at it, just see it. And then I'm going to break down the multiple elements inside of this video because there are a lot of things. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. This is Edward. You're watching Boxing Fanatico. All right, guys, so before we start, do want to mention that a new fighter was added, Alexander Povetkin, and that is a major grab. He just came off of the KO win against Dylan White, and big grab. That was an awesome fighter pickup because Alexander Povetkin is one of the top heavyweights fighting right now. Hopefully this is a good sign for things to come and we get more fighters down the line. But do not forget that this is seasonal, which is super smart because if the game does well and becomes big, bigger fighters are going to want to jump on top of it. So it's up to us, the boxing fans, the fight fans, and the boxing video game fans to make sure we support this game by purchasing the game and playing the game. So now that we're done with that, awesome pickup, Esports Boxing Club. Now let's go ahead and look at this trailer. Now I'm gonna go ahead and play the full trailer with no interruptions. Obviously, I'm going to change the audio because the audio does flag my video for copyright, which doesn't let me monetize on my own. The video that I did reacting to this was flagged for copyright, but I left it anyways because I wanted the full experience. I wanted you guys to get the full experience, so I didn't care that that video wasn't monetized or the monetization is going to the person who made that song. But moving forward with this trailer, I'm gonna go ahead and put different music on top of it. So let's go ahead and play this trailer. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and rewind this so we can go ahead and break it down. So first thing that I want to look at, we'll go through here, 1024, gloves touching, everything is fine here, nothing special there. But what I want to look at here is the head movement. You notice that he's coming in with little feints to the left and little feints to the right, almost like he's about to change levels. He's about to go down, but then he cancels, kind of like testing his opponent, seeing what his opponent's reactions are, or seeing what he himself is comfortable at in that moment. Here we see the separation, the break in the separation. So if we let this play, you see they come in and there's more head movement. So it looks like they coupled some head movement clips together. So head movement there, you see head movement there, and then you see head movement here, which leads me to believe that this head movement thing, even though as slight as it looks, will be controllable. Now, it could be something like joystick sensitivity, how much you push it determines how far you go with your head movement. If it is, then that is really precise controlling. Then you see the separation here and the walk. Notice though how Josh Warrington does not automatically just rotate with him. There isn't an automatic rotation. Look at his body. Look, the center line is broken. The center line is broken in this position right here. In Fight Night, for example, you can never break the center line. And by that, I mean you were always one-to-one right in front of the person. There was never really an angle that could be made. Now, if you ever boxed before, if you've ever done boxing and try to get the upper hand on somebody, if you can catch somebody at an angle, a la a Lomachenko, for example, who does it in an extreme fashion, but if you can catch somebody at an angle because they're in such an awkward position and you're not in front of them, but they are in front of you, you have an offensive advantage to throw without worrying about punches coming back because they're not even positioned well to be able to strike you. Maybe they can hit you with a sideways jab, but that's pretty much it. You don't have to worry about too many punches coming at you. So notice how you could break the line. And that's not the only time you can do it. Here you can see that he's off the line as well. He is not directly in front of him until Kid Gilad makes that extra step to get there. Then he goes into a different direction and he's off the line right there as well. So you can break the line, guys, and be at an angle just based off of the movements. Now, even here, notice they're not directly in front of each other. There is a kind of like a little bit of spacing. For example, you could tell that his legs are to the right of Arturo Gotti's left leg. You could tell that Conor Benn's left leg is to the right of Arturo Gotti's left leg. So unless Arturo Gatti kind of recovers with his footing, Conor Benn will be on the outside of Arturo Gatti. So then we move over to here, and we see that there's more movements, there's more step backs. Now, actually, what I want to focus on real quick, let's go back a little bit. This right here, that step and then come back. That looks like he was going to step and he wasn't. That looks like he was going to do a step, but he decided not to do a step. So what I'm getting from this, what my theory is that there is possibly a feint modifier, trigger, or bumper button that if you hold it, anything you do will modify itself into a feint. So walking will be modified into a feint, and that's what I think is happening here. He's stepping forward with the feint modifier, creating that step right there, and then he's walking forward here. And then also here, he's walking forward with the feint modifier. He presses it, he holds the feint modifier right here and makes him do that little step right there, that little quick step right there. Then the backpedaling is there. I believe there's also probably a maneuverability modifier using the bumper. So then you become more fluid in your movements, which could be sidestepping or backpedaling. And what you do specifically could be situational. Since he's moving and there's closing in the gap, since he's moving, but Arturo Gotti's closing in the gap and he's already positioned with his back and he's using that fluid movement, the orientation is just to get him to backpedal instead of side pedal. Then the dodging here, of course, you can see the dodging. One thing you want to focus on is Conor Benn's stamina. Look how drained it is. And look, his mouth is open. He is breathing heavy because of his stamina being so low. While Arturo Gatti has the upper hand in stamina. Look, his mouth has not closed. He is heavily breathing and very, very tired because he just drained his stamina. He probably threw a bunch of punches or were doing a lot of movements. Who knows exactly why? But notice here when you miss how much you pay on the stamina bar. Just look at that. Look at that right there. Look how much he's paying for that miss. That's a big chunk. He was like up here and he went down to like right here. So missing punches and losing that much could force people to be more careful with their punches. Because you can miss, I mean, you get that chunk here, you get another chunk maybe up to here, another chunk up to here, you know, another one up to here. You'll be here in like 4 punches. If the pacing of the removal of these for misses are the same, you'll be down here with like 4 punches missed, and then you could get attacked to the body, and you'll be over here before you know it. You could get easily knocked down. So this may actually force you to be more focused with your punches and force you to actually, you know, care about what you're doing. Another interesting fact with this is that when Conor Benn dodged, it did not look like much came off. It didn't look like there was much coming off. when he attempted that dodge right here, because we'll notice that the stamina meter comes off right there for Arturo Gatti, but barely comes off for Conor Benn. And while Conor Benn is moving, backpedaling, his stamina is coming up. So just because you're backpedaling, it's not going to be like how Fight Night was, where just because you're backpedaling, you will lose your stamina. Obviously, they're going to have to make sure that people don't just continuously run throughout the entire fight. But because of the angles that they've allowed for you to create in the game that you can tell that they're doing, it'll probably be actually easier for you to truly cut off the ring when someone is continuously backpedaling. All right, so we move on. So they're looking at the footwork. Here is the bounce, the double bounce. Notice no stamina is being lost for doing that. So they're welcoming footwork. They're telling you, use your feet, move. You're not going to drain your stamina bar just because you're stepping side to side and bouncing like that. I think here, for example, if my theory holds up, he's using the bumper for the feint modifier, and he's just going left, right on the feint modifier. That's creating this bouncing motion right here, a fluid bouncing motion. Here we see Josh Warrington change levels slightly as he steps in. So it's not a normal step in. He kind of, notice how he drops low and then comes back up. And see how Kid Galad gets to Josh Warrington's left, breaking the line. Josh Warrington fixes that by side pedaling immediately, getting himself back into position. And then we have the feint modifier theory at work here. Remember, remember guys, I'm not part of the development team, but this is just my theory because I'm seeing these things happening. And I'm assuming that this is the way it's going to work, especially since they revealed on their Steam page that these things will be controlled by you. The jab kind of missed, but when he hits Conor Benn, you see it says C head, which means center head. So there's going to be center head damage, there's going to be left head damage, and right head damage. And then here, for example, he hits him with the hook on the left side, and you see that there's left head damage. See it right there at the bottom, right here. So we can focus on the left side of the head, the center part of the head, the right side of the head. It's all it's all there. It's all there basically. Here we see Josh Warrington trying to regain position, and you see that Kid Galad is not letting him create that angle. He's forcing himself. He's cutting off what Josh Warrington is doing, and they're meeting at the center line. Here you see Conor Benn moving. Here you see Conor Benn moving side to side, but with a taunt. So to me, this could just be random, that they just implement that whenever you're doing that side step because of the distance. They allowed that to happen. Or you could taunt and move. You could just press the taunt button while moving, and it just activates that way when you're doing that side pedaling. Here you could tell that Conor Benn is attacking the body relentlessly. You can see he's hitting the left body, right here at the bottom, left body, right body. Arturo Gatti's life is down. Arturo Gatti's in the blue corner. He's in the red corner. We can tell. It's no secret that that's the stamina bar anymore. We know that for a fact, that big bar is the stamina bar. But boom, gets caught. And you can see immediately, right as he gets caught, it says center head. Just because he threw a left hook does not mean it will automatically hurt the right side of his face. He threw a left hook and it hurt the center part of his face. Because why? His positioning. We no longer have forced on the line positioning. It looks like angles will be possible, which if people love people like Lomachenko and you're good with your footwork and timing and understanding where the other person is going to be, you can do these things. So then we move over here. He moves forward. I think he's also here at this point using that modification, the maneuverability modification, but using it to move directly towards Kid Galad, while Kid Galad, of course, taunts. Notice there's no more forced sliding. There's no one sliding in the ring. Everything is foot placement. Everything is working the way it should work. Here it looks like he just came off of a hook to the left side of Kid Galad's face. Then he follows up with a left hook to the right side of his face, and you'll notice that both of those are appearing down here because he's obviously being hit by those. And then he ducks, changes the levels quickly. He was probably anticipating maybe a jab coming back and he avoided it, or just, he was being defensively responsible. And here we have, again, Arturo Gatti trying to break the line, trying to break that center line by moving towards the right. You could tell that at this point, it looks like Conor Benn is actually possibly hurt. It looks like he could be hurt because of the way his hands are positioned. This hand dropping thing looks to be the tell when someone is hurt, because it appears in all of the moments where these fighters are hurt in this trailer. He gets hit with the uppercut right there, and then here he dips and hooks. Really clean dip. Really clean. Nothing different that we haven't seen before, but it is really nice to see how fluid that is. And boom, connects. This, he didn't really even have to do this. He was already far enough, but it was, it is cool to see that he could do that and taunt in the same animation. You see that? The same animation. He's doing that and he's taunting. Uppercut connects. Right hook connects, and look at the gloves. You're going to see the glove positioning right there. That position and that movement. The movement is very similar to how it was. You notice that? And then if we go back here to how he was here, look at how he's moving here. He's kind of moving the same way. You see it? You see it? So it looks like that is the tell when someone is hurt, because they might remove all of the stamina stuff. And you might have to work off of what you're seeing in front of you. But look at the change in the line. Look at how he's changing the line here. Look how he moves to the left. He's probably trying to get a better position. But Conor Benn is moving himself back to try to position himself a little bit better. Now, keep in mind, they're probably not going to let it be a free-for-all. It's probably going to be triangular. You can't be behind the person's back, but you could probably be to the side of the person using those tactics. This is a more in-depth look at all of this stuff, looking at the movements, the positioning, the changing of levels, the feinting. I have a theory that there's a button modifier for feints, fully for every single thing you do, for walking, for moving, for punching, for head movements. There's a feint modifier. This is just my theory, that if you press that, even if you're in the middle of moving and then you press that, you stop what you're doing and you do the feint. If you're punching and you press that, you can probably, you could probably do one of these kind of things. If you're continuously pressing it, like that, if you hold it down while pressing the buttons to do whatever punch action you're doing, and that specific punch action will create a specific feint, which is amazing. And then also the changes of levels, the quick changes of the levels, so getting low or getting high, and the angles, breaking the line, creating that T format where this person would have a substantial advantage over this person right here, because this person's punches are all pointing in this direction while this person's punches are pointing directly at his opponent. If you've ever boxed before, you know that is actually something you can do to create an offensive advantage. Lomachenko does it like crazy. He's always doing it, and a lot of fighters do it sparingly. Lomachenko had amazing footwork that allowed him to do it consistently without the other person really kind of understanding how to stop it. But I love to see that line, that straight line that you were forced to be in with Fight Night. If I circled you and you didn't even press anything, you would just connect to me like a magnet and circle with me. Here, it looks like you can move here, be right here, and attack. Even though you're looking at your opponent is right here, they're not positioned well to attack you. So in that instance, you can have an offensive advantage and not have to fear the punch coming back so quickly. You can probably throw 1-2. You could probably throw a 1 and 2 and get out of there, or move to the other side if you're anticipating them over committing with their rotation to try to regain that center line or try to put you at a disadvantage. So that is the full detailed breakdown of that trailer. Now, we didn't focus on anything like the crowd. It looks like the crowd is not going to get too much attention, which I don't mind. Put the energy at things that matter. If putting a nice crowd is what causes, you know, them to remove footwork or something else or animation parts, no, screw it. I don't want that. The crowd for me is fine. Put that, you know, blur, whatever. I barely see them. If I hear them and they're cheering, I'm good. They're background to me anyways. I'd rather they focus more on the in-ring stuff. I've noticed a lot of people say, oh my God, look at the crowd. Oh my God, look at this. Oh my God, look at that. They're an indie studio guys that are creating an amazing boxing game. Let them put their marbles in the things that matter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, I'll see you next time. This is Edward, and I'm out.